He takes the knee to cap off a 4-0 start and the 14th consecutive regular season win for the San Francisco 49ers. The record is 15.
Oh, baby! Live from the Chase Center Courtside Club. Joe Shasky, the Butcher, Bonte Hill. The morning roast on remote as we get ready for Warriors Media Day, and a lot of special players are going to come in today. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, you know it, four-time champions, Draymond Green. Maybe he comes with an ice pack on that ankle. But yesterday down at Levi Stadium, you heard the highlight, Kevin Kugler on Fox Sports. We got something special happening down in Santa Clara. And we have a special player, maybe two, and Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. And we're going to get all into it as the Niners roll over the Arizona Cardinals. They cover, and it sets up a monster showdown that we'll talk about all week long here at 95.7 The Game. It is a Monster Monday brought to you by First 5 California. To learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress, go to first5california.com. We got Tim Jordan in the building, Matt Nahigan, our program director. And I say good morning to you, Shasky, Spadonia, Loveman back at the studio, all the graveyard shift workers, all the overnight dancers. You know, they made a killing last night in San Jose. Welcoming those 49ers and welcoming those losers from Arizona. It's going down with the 49ers undefeated, 4-0, and we got two special players. That reminds me of a guy who plays basketball here at Chase Center.
I mean, let's just start right here. I know it's October 2nd. The Super Bowl doesn't happen this week. This is the best team in the NFL currently. I think they've got the best player in the NFL currently in CMC. You can go with one of the quarterbacks. I think he's the best weapon in the league right now. What he does on the field, Christian McCaffrey, as a pass catcher, as a guy that just eats up space, commands coverage from linebackers and safeties, defensive linemen, his patience in the hole, his vision in the hole, the jump back cuts, the burst, the ability to just score touchdowns left and right. Christian McCaffrey's the best player in the NFL right now. Things can change. You want to take Mahomes. You want to take Josh Allen. Nobody's arguing with you. I think Christian McCaffrey's the best player in the league right now. I think he's having the best month in the NFL, and we haven't even gotten to the guy who I feel the most confident about. And I'm going to go even before Jeff Garcia. I'm going to go straight to Steve Young. Brock Purdy has been outstanding. What can this guy not do? His connection with Brandon Ayuk, are you kidding me on some of these deep balls?
It was a masterful performance by Brock Purdy. 20-21, 283 yards, a touchdown here. You want deep balls? Well, he could throw it deep. He threw it into double coverage, and it wasn't really into double coverage. He put it to only where Brandon Ayuk could get to the football. It was a perfect throw. A perfect throw by Brock Purdy. The back shoulder throws of Brandon Ayuk. It was perfect. Yeah. He was nearly perfect yesterday, and I thought... It felt like the old school 90s where I said, okay, I got a quarterback in place who's going to get the ball to his wide receivers. And here's the difference with McCaffrey and the other quarterback that the Niners have had in recent memory. When he does throw it short, because a lot of people are to say, well, he threw 5-yard passes, he threw slants, blah, 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 blah. Well, a lot of times our quarterbacks will throw it and a guy will get hit right away for a 5-yard gain. Yeah. He puts it into a place to where he allows the Christian McCaffrey, he allows the Brandon Ayuks to catch it, turn, and run, and pick up yak. Yep. That is the perfect point guard for this offense. He gets the ball out quick. He gets it on time. He's very accurate. And I got no worries about Brock Purdy. He is one of the 10 best quarterbacks right now in pro football. I don't even think that's a debate. You talk about McCaffrey. Yeah, watch the games. Not you. No doubt.
The cynic.
You have to give in to what he's doing right now. Doubt. You may have your franchise quarterback if he's healthy. I feel very good about Brock Purdy going into Philadelphia, going into Dallas, playing the Detroit Lions. Now, it's going to be tough, and we're going to talk about some current concerns I have with the 49ers. But offensively, 30, 30, 30, 35. That's all you need to worry about.
It's crazy how George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, who are all world-type players, feel like afterthoughts on this offense because McCaffrey's so damn good. Yep. And it's not a knock on those guys. Those guys are awesome, right? Like Deebo Samuel, how many teams would die to have him? Yeah. George Kittle. The fact that you got all these guys together, and then Brandon Ayuk looks like he didn't skip a freaking beat. No. And I know the two deep balls are going to be the ones everyone highlights. Before the second deep ball, I love the little slant that they threw to him. Just perfect ball placement where he protects the receiver from getting hit from the guy from behind him. Just Brock Purdy special. My favorite play from Brock Purdy yesterday, it wasn't even the deep balls. It was the scramble right, flip the hips, find CMC kind of in the soup, if you will.
First drive of the game.
As he's coming across on that little crosser, it was a total backyard play. Yeah. And CMC takes it upfield. I think he got a face mask on it. And he just, Everything was right there for you. This is the impromptu playmaking when a guy gets free. Right. Purdy scrambles out right, flips, boom, simple little accurate play. I know he can make all the plays scripted. It's the unscripted stuff where he really starts to showcase how special he is.
It reminds you of Stephen Curry in a way, where Steph Curry can just come up half court, full court, and just bomb a three. You never know what's going to happen with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and the Splash Brothers. But you look at Brock Purdy yesterday again, 20 of 21, 283 yards and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, 4 touchdowns, 1 off of tying the franchise record with Ricky Waters when he did it against the New York Giants, 44-3. We all wanted him to score, but you know what it is.
I really did.
Look, Christian McCaffrey, 20 carries, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns in the run game. In the pass game, 7 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. And it's not even a debate. He's been here for less than a year. We'll play some sound from him, how he feels about this team. He's all the way bought in. But with this offense here, and the magic number being 30, a lot of people laugh, say, well, can this offense do it? It's hard to do it in the NFL. In today's NFL, where the rules help the offense, and you have a play caller like Shanahan, and you have a mind and a processor like Brock Purdy, and you have special weapon X and Christian McCaffrey, anything can happen. So now, when we think about it, Philadelphia's going through a similar situation where they're 4-0. They're worried about certain things. But you're 4-0. We're 4-0. And trust me, I'm watching the Eagles. They're going to be there. That's a very good football team out there in Philadelphia. Their fans, not so much. The Niners, George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, outside of the Pittsburgh game, they haven't even got going yet. This is a good problem. Like, I would be worried about George Kittle if they were 2-2, 1-3. Yeah. You're 4-0, and number 85 hasn't had his imprint on the offense yet.
I would say he's a fourth down monster because on 2 big fourth downs early in games this year, he's already gotten the ball, and it feels effortless. Like everybody's going to look at CMC. Oh, we'll just throw a little quick hitter right here to George Kittle, and then boom, first down, move the chains.
It's the only catch of the game.
Deebo Samuel looks a little tentative, and we'll get into some of the stuff that does alarm us. Javon Hargrave was awesome again yesterday.
Great digger.
I thought Greenlaw was throwing his body around with reckless abandon. James Conner versus Fred Warner, that's the only guy I've seen stick it to Fred Warner.
No doubt. James Conner was running with the purpose yesterday. The Terminator, T-1000, whatever you want to call him.
A lot.
He is a baller. And he got into it with Talanoa Hufanga after the game. What was that about? There was a lot of chirping going on that field. And look it. I give Arizona a lot of credit. Coach Gannon has them ready to roll. They went for it on 4th down a couple times, 4th and 2 from their 20-plus yard line. They get the fake punt. Guy falls forward. They get another 4th down earlier in the game where Mark Sanchez on the call said, boy, this is risky. That is a plucky team. And they kept the defense off balance with a lot of play action. They stayed out of 3rd and long. They stayed out of 2nd and long. And they kept in the ball game. But here's the difference between the 2019 Niners and this 49er football team. This offense can carry the defense for long stretches at a time.
Yes.
And the one thing is with this defense, they're going to have some issues here with the cornerbacks. Ambry Thomas, I don't know, man. I worry about him in games against CeeDee Lamb.
Where's his situational awareness?
Yeah, I don't know. I worry about that.
I mean, it's right before halftime, and you're just like jumping the underneath route. And I'm saying to myself, you got to know we're protecting the end zone here. The difference between 21-6 and 21-10 is massive.
It's very massive.
It's massive. To me, he's unplayable in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, you may have to look out there. And I know a lot of people said, you could go trade for Patrick Surtain. I don't know who's available, but cornerback to me is the number one thing. If you're going to improve this football team, that's the thing you need to improve. The secondary. Get me another corner. Right tackle, I could live with Colton McKivitz. I could live with Spencer Burford. Yeah, he wasn't bad yesterday.
He scored on 5 of 6 possessions.
Yeah, but next week will be a stiffer challenge for Micah Parsons coming to town and company. Something we'll get into all week long. But cornerback is the number one priority for me. And I know this team.
I would agree.
They will swing a move for a top-flight corner because they understand the mission this year. It's to win the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, even though we're a long way away from there. All you can do is stack wins, but it's about getting this home field advantage. They will make the bold move. Why? Because the biggest bold move made last season, and it may be one of the boldest moves in Bay Area sports history, in acquiring Christian McCaffrey when everybody's talking about, running backs are dead. The Shanahan's can find running backs. You don't need a home run hitting running back. This guy's different. All right? When he's on the football field, and I hear all the people talk about take him off the field, limit his touches, I want him on the field. Just like Deebo Samuel. I know he was compromised yesterday, but the difference in having those two guys on the field, the defense has to be on high alert. You got to be worried about number 19 and number 23.
obviously what he did leading up to this point is just, it's written in stone. The guy was unbelievable in terms of the 3 touchdowns prior to this play. It's 21-16. Okay, Arizona doesn't get the 2-point conversion. Niners get the ball back after going 3 and out, right? Essentially.
Biggest drive of the game.
And what did they do on the first play? They run a play action where McCaffrey is commanding all this coverage. Purdy flips the hips and throws an absolute seed downfield to Brandon Ayuk. To me, that wasn't so much about Purdy and Ayuk as it was about CMC and his dominance. And you got to be aware of him. And it just opens the field up down the field. I'm looking at CMC, and when you are breaking Jerry Rice records, I don't know if the young people realize Jerry Rice records are like Wilt Chamberlain records. They're so far out in front of everyone else, and even in the throwing era, you look at the numbers, and they still feel Supermanish. And CMC's breaking Jerry Rice records. To say it's surreal is an overstatement. It's an understatement, excuse me.
We're in the house that Steph Curry built, right? And he's now getting in touch with Wilt Chamberlain and franchise. And Wilt Chamberlain is a myth to us, right? He's an urban legend. You know, it's like, wait a minute, 50 a game? You average 50 points a game? What is going on here? You scored 100 in a game? Wait, Steph Curry's reached those records where to score touchdowns in 13 straight games for the 49ers.
Unbelievable.
13 straight touchdowns. There's other stats, too. We're having over 100 all-purpose yards to start the season in 4 straight games.
He's automatic.
He's breaking franchise records left and right. And that's why this trade, that bold trade to get Christian McCaffrey, changed the trajectory of this offense. Now it gives Shanahan a play sheet here where he goes, boy, I could go 23, or I could actually pass to 23. I go down the field to Brandon Ayuk. I go down the field to Deebo Samuel. I have a quarterback who's going to take care of the football. And heck, I just thought, as Christian McCaffrey's doing his thing, and he's taking all the headlines, I'm thinking to myself, boy, number 13 reminds me a lot of the great ones. I'm telling you, when I say he reminds me of, I don't want to compare him to anything, because we do it with Caleb Williams, comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, and I think it's unfair. Caleb Williams is a very good quarterback and should be a very good quarterback in the NFL. But I don't like comparing guys, but they can remind you of somebody. And he reminds me of a young Tom Brady in that pocket. The footwork, the poise, the patience, the command at the line of scrimmage, the huddle, decision-making, ball placement, to give your wide receivers a chance to catch and run. He's in total command of this offense. He was nearly perfect yesterday. So now I got a quarterback when I don't have to worry about turning it over the ball. I have a running back who doesn't fumble and can do all things on the football field. Line them out wide, line them in the slot, line them in the backfield, throw it to him, hand it off to him. And then I got Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk, we're going to figure out a way to pay this guy, and I believe the 49ers will get it done. 6 catches on 6 targets, 148 yards, Joe Shasky. Now you got a number 1 wide receiver, too.
He's got 17 catches this year, and all of them have been for a first down or a touchdown.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, it really is crazy. You're talking about Brock Purdy, and we could talk about what he is. What he is a guy who never puts the ball in harm's way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, okay, he had a couple of passes that got broken up in the New York Giants game. Outside of that, he always seems to dot a guy right in stride to where he can turn up field and maximize the play. He's a maximizer. We keep talking about the players around him. What about Purdy maximizing the entire roster?
No,
How many quarterbacks would come up short and guys would be frustrated not getting touches, not moving the ball? They're scoring at a rapid rate. This sounds nuts. I almost felt like, can we sit on the ball a little more and run it and take a little air out of it? Because the defense at times is on the field more than they need to because they're scoring so quick. That's a good problem to have, but it's a real thing.
No, it's a great problem to have, and they're setting the tone. You look at every opening drive to start the season. You scored a 7 against Pittsburgh. Boom, you're 7-0. You got on to SoFi Stadium for the unofficial home opener against the LA Rams. Boom, you score 7. You're up 7-0 after the first possession of the game. Last week, you stubbed your toe a little bit against the New York Giants, but you still kick the field goal and you get some points on the board. And then yesterday, you go right down the football field to score 7. So you scored on every opening drive to start the game. Your defense, conversely, has not allowed a point on the opening drive. So you have a lead already. You're playing uphill playing downhill instead of playing uphill, trying to come back, trying to be in the fist fight here. You are putting so much pressure, on the opposing defenses and the offenses, because now an offense has to get on the field. They're thinking, boy, we're already down 7-0. We got to keep up with these guys. If not, this defense is going to suffocate us. And then number 97, number 98, number 95, number 90. All these guys are going to start getting after me, and all of a sudden they're going to start sending blitzes with Greenlaw and Warner, and all of a sudden it's lights out. So you have an offense now for the first time under Shanahan that could that could put premium pressure on opposing defenses and offense because you got to keep up with them.
The big question mark on the defense, everyone's going to say secondary, and I hear him. It's not just secondary, because I'm looking at the secondary. They're always up 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, right? And so I get playing soft coverage. I get playing off these wide receivers and forcing teams to just take the underneath stuff, allow the clock to tick, because that's going to be a big criticism. Like, hey, we're playing way too far off these guys. Shallow crossers are killing us. I agree with that. We all agree with that. I'm not going to freak out till I see when this team is in tight games where a team can have a balanced attack against them. What does it look like then? I think it's easy to criticize the corners. Look, Ambry Thomas does not look good. I'm not here to say that he looks good. But would you agree we'll have a better feel in like a tight game where it's even, where a team can balance run and pass? Then I'll know what this actual defense looks like. Because right now, when you're up 21-3, the natural thing is to, all right, we're going into a prevent. We're not going to allow you to beat us over the top. That being said, Ambry Thomas still got beat over the top.
Yeah, no, twice on the same possession. They saw Ambry Thomas said, "Oh, barbecue chicken alert, barbecue chicken alert." And I'm not trying to pick on the young man,
but it is what it is.
He's got to get better at covering and knowing situational football. De'Amon Leonard at times got beat yesterday, but the safeties are playing at such a high level. We don't talk enough about them. Hufanga and Gibson. Gibson made a couple plays yesterday, but look, we can nitpick all you want. They won 35-16. This offense is carrying the load. They're doing their part. They're really going to average 30 a game. They're going to average 30 a game.
It sure
and
feels
it may be one of the most prolific offenses we've seen in San Francisco since maybe the 94 Niners, the last time they won a Super Bowl, maybe the 98 Niners. Nothing else comes close to the 2000s. Nothing comes close to what we're seeing right now with the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver, and we're going to see CeeDee Lamb come to town, and a lot of us want a CeeDee Lamb. Niners say, you know what, we're going to take this kid out of Arizona State by way of Sierra College at the junior college level. Brandon Ayuk, all right? Brandon Ayuk is putting up similar numbers to CeeDee Lamb over the last year and a half. You got to look out, and he's doing it on less targets. He's doing it on less opportunities, Shasky.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk's been absolutely special. I actually have something that I wanted to read to you because I just think it's unbelievable. Brandon Ayuk yesterday, okay, this is from Steph 49K. He caught passes of 20 yards, 34 yards, 25 yards, 42 yards, 11, and 16. I mean, it's just chunk play after chunk play. Listen to those numbers.
Chunk plays.
It's just unbelievable. And when I look at what he does with Brock Purdy, clearly there's a trust factor there. And not only that, there's a separation factor. They chart these things now, like separation per wide receiver.
Right.
Ayuk is in a category, it's just him and Justin Jefferson. 2.9 yards of separation per average route. That's crazy. Now, no one's sitting here saying that Brandon Ayuk is better than Justin Jefferson. But in terms of getting separation against the guy that's going up against him, he's making it easy for Brock Purdy, but yet Brock Purdy's still delivering perfect passes in stride.
You look at that wide receiver class that year. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Michael Pittman Jr., Chase Claypool, Jalen Reagor. Could make the argument right now. Outside of Justin Jefferson, the next wide receiver taken off the draft board would be Brandon Ayuk if you had to redraft.